What's up, guys? Welcome to another week of Quarantine with SB. It's going to be a good one. We're continuing on our series of I'll Be Happy If. Alex is going to be giving us a message. We've got games, we've got worship, our first ever installation, is that the word, of the Quarantine Olympics with Stonebridge. It's going to be a great time. Let's get into it.
Hey, welcome to the Quarantine Olympics. Today's event is blindfold obstacle course. If you will look this direction, you will see our contenders, Shane and Stone. They will be directed through the obstacle course by Alex and Dante. They are not allowed to touch them. They will be staying a safe 6 feet apart from them per quarantine safety rules. The first one through the obstacle course and under the table is the winner. Gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? On your mark. Get set. Spin around. Touch the ground. Watch out for the table. Stand back up. Ready. Go.
Yeah. Come on, you gotta move, Stone, standing on you. Go straight. Sidestep right. Go straight. Over. Get down. Yes. Winner.
What's up, guys? My name is Stone. I am a middle school small group leader.
And I'm Christy, and I'm
She's
the Miller
Christy.
Campus Pastor.
Yes, and we are going to be playing Box of Lies today. We tried to play this a couple weeks ago with bags. We kind of bootlegged it, but it didn't go too well. Christy graced us with the actual game, and she knows how to play a whole lot better than I do, so she's going to explain it real quick.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Okay, so in all of these boxes, there is something, a picture of something, and then we get to choose one of these cards and flip it over, and it will tell us whether or not we tell a lie or tell the truth. And then the other person has to guess whether or not we're lying or telling the truth about what's in the box.
And you're going to play along with us.
Clearly I'm going to win.
Probably.
Maybe you'll win. You can comment on what you think it is, or whether or not we're lying. Okay.
Yes. All right.
You draw first.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm going to put these over here, and you get to draw. It'll tell you which one you're doing.
Oh, boy. Okay. So. All right. So, on this card, there's, you like steering wheels? Do you commonly look at your steering wheel as you're driving? Okay, well, if you haven't noticed, some steering wheels have nice 5 points, like a star, like a star formation. But this steering wheel that I have on this card right now, it's instead of, just your boring old connectors on the steering wheel, there's a starfish, a good old starfish, like Patrick the Star, whatnot, but more realistic. The steering wheel is wooden, like one of the old, I feel like it's an old car, like Volkswagen or something.
I think you're telling the truth.
I am telling the truth. You see it? Oh, yes. It's a good old starfish. Starfish on a steering wheel.
That's a ridiculous
Classic.
picture. All right, give me the cards. My turn.
Here are the cards.
I'm going to choose box number 2. Oh. All right. Okay. Stone,
Yes.
inside this box is a bunny rabbit
Okay.
wearing roller skates with a tutu. It looks like it's pirouetting. The bunny is gray and it is holding an ice cream cone.
That sounds very graceful.
It looks like it's strawberry flavored.
Can I ask what color the tutu is?
The tutu is purple.
I think that's a lie.
Oh, it is!
Yeah.
Good job. You want to see what I was supposed to describe? That guy right there. Well, this is what I was not supposed to describe. A horse getting filled up with gas.
Oh,
Good job, Stone.
thank you. Whew. Okay.
So you have one and I have one.
Yeah, this is the tie-breaking round.
Here
I
we go.
suppose.
Now you decide.
Oh,
You
this-
pick over here.
Okay, let's see. Okay. So here,
Wait. Did you figure
I did.
out?
I
Okay.
did, yes. So right here, I have. It looks like an old Viking ship, like a boat,
Okay.
like pirate / Viking kind of ship, and it's shooting out at maximum velocity. What looks to be.
At maximum velocity?
Yes, you can tell.
You
it's
can tell by the
maximum
picture
Yes.
that it's going out as fast as it possibly
Yes.
can. Okay.
It looks to be, well, it's a cheeseburger.
Okay.
Looks to be like a Whopper from Burger King, something like that.
So it's a Viking ship shooting out of its cannon at
Yes.
max velocity.
Yes.
A cheeseburger that looks like a Whopper.
Yeah, I'd say Whopper is the closest comparison I could make. You can feel free to ask questions.
I know. What color is the ship?
Well, it's wood, so
Right,
it's
but, like,
kinda
it's all-
it's like a grayish wood.
Okay.
It has like a little red thing on it. I don't even know what it is. But
A
it's
red
there.
thing?
There's just a red.
Where's the
patch,
red
something
thing?
Right above the cannon.
I think it's true.
It is true. That is a nice burger right there.
There it is.
Complete with bacon and everything else you could ever want.
We're still tied. We're gonna be tied at the end of this because I'm gonna.
Well, yeah, this is the last round.
We'll
so
see.
it's all
Unless
up to
I can
us.
convince you. Oh, this is full of other things. I'm gonna take this guy. Box. Number 1.
Oh, the pressure's on.
Okay. Stone.
Yes.
I am holding in my hand a box
Okay.
with a puppy on a skateboard.
Okay.
It is wearing like an outfit with a unicorn horn. So it's like
Okay.
dressed like a unicorn.
Like a onesie, kind of.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yep. It's like a onesie.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
That's all.
That's all I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you.
I think that's a lie. Just right off with that.
Oh my gosh, it's not a lie,
No!
but look at how cute it is. And look who wins, it's me.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for
Well,
playing.
congratulations, Christy.
Thank you.
Maybe one day I'll be as good
A liar?
as you are.
Well, that's quite the aspiration you have there.
I know,
We'll
I know.
see.
Jeez.
If you're lucky.
Maybe one day.
You didn't have to go into overtime.
I know. I'm kind of pleased with that.
Are you?
Not pleased that I lost. So we're gonna move right on to our next fun game.
Craig, classic.
All right, what's up, guys? We are back with our second game, and I'm gonna beat Christy this time because I'm triggered that she beat me in the last game. So what's gonna happen? We're each gonna take a nice swig of water, keep it in our mouths, and then we have a couple special guests that happen to be fathers, and they're gonna come and they're gonna tell a dad joke, and then whoever laughs first between me and Christy, spits the water all over the place, is the loser. And we'll go a couple rounds and see what happens. So, here we go.
Why couldn't the ant get sick? Because of his little antibody.
What's the most groundbreaking invention of all time? The shovel.
What do you call a camel with 3 humps? Pregnant.
You guys need to reload water? Better take another drink.
Oh boy, this is bad.
I think you lost already. Was it the 3 humps that got you? Middle school boy.
Ready? Mm-hmm. My wife thinks camouflage is sexy. I just don't see it.
How much room does a fungi need to grow? As much room as possible!
See, I'm just not good at handling dad jokes. I find them hilarious. Are there more? Are you guys still going?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Are we good? Still going? You guys good?
You good, Stone? Christy's the champ.
All right. My wife told me she hates revolving doors, and she's afraid that she'll get stuck in them. I said, you'll come around eventually.
Why did the man fall in the well? Because he couldn't see that well. Stone. That's 3 for 3 on Stone.
There's just something about your delivery, Shane. I just can't handle it. Oh boy.
Hold on, I have to swallow my
Take a
water.
drink.
It's just
Take a
getting
drink.
warm.
All right.
See, this is really intense and takes a lot of mouth muscles.
It does. Wow, there's a big mess on the floor. That looks terrible. Whew. You guys ready for this?
That's a lot of water, Christy.
You know what? You know what really makes me throw up? A dartboard on a ceiling.
Okay. Okay. You okay, Stone? All right. It's a Star Wars joke. I was watching Star Wars with my daughter. She asked why Luke was climbing inside a tauntaun. I said, to keep warm. She asked, how warm is it inside? I said, lukewarm.
Oh
Messed
yes.
up.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
I don't want to clean this up.
That was a more intellectual joke. It's the intellectual ones that get Christy.
It's true. And I
Oh,
also
man.
had the most full mouth of water.
You guys ready? I always knock on the fridge before I open it, just in case there's a salad dressing.
Oh no.
You spin too? Did that one get us both?
Yeah.
I'm all wet.
This is. Oh man.
All right.
So was that our last one, or Shane? You have one more?
That's all.
All right, that's all. Well, I think Christy, you won again. Unfortunately,
Did I?
I think we're both
I'm
losers.
covered in water. It feels like still no.
Well, I gotta clean this mess up. Unfortunately, so.
Hey, students, families, so glad you're with us. My name's Alex. I'm the Benson campus pastor. And I know this season's been kind of crazy, but I'm excited to be a part of what's going on at Stonebridge still, even in the chaos. We're in this sermon series called I'll Be Happy If. And a few weeks back, Skylar on social media put this out. Hey, let us know what would make you happy. I'll be happy if you fill in the blank. And one of the things that kept coming back was this idea of confidence. I'll be happy if I'm confident. And, we were looking through, he showed me all these different answers that people sent in. And that one really stuck out to me because it's something I've felt in my life before, especially when I was a student in middle school and high school. And so when he was asking me which ones I would want to preach on, talk about, I said, confidence for sure. There's no doubt. I would love to hit on that because in my life, I can think back to middle school and high school, and I know what it's like to walk through life without confidence, to walk living in kind of this fear of what people think about you. So if you're with me tonight, you can open up. I'm going to be in 1 Samuel 15. But before we get there, I just have to tell you a little bit about my experience as a student in middle school and high school. I can look back at that and think, now I can think, man, I'm so glad I'm not living that way. But at that time, there was only one way I knew how to live. And it was this idea of trying to be popular, trying to almost like this. If there was like a ranking system in middle school and high school, that was what I felt in my life. I felt like there was this constant ranking system of who was popular, who was liked, and who wasn't. And it seemed like there was always kind of like this top 10. There were these top 10 kids. They were the most popular in school. And then you kind of had like the next tier, and then the tier below them, and then the not so popular or the outcasts. And it just kind of felt like, there was 1 through 10 and then 10 through 30, just all these different rankings. And in middle school and high school, my whole goal, my whole mission was just to try and kind of move my way up these rankings. And it fluctuated throughout my time as a student. There was one point when I think I was 8th or 9th grade, and I was at like the very pinnacle. I was in the top 10. I might have been number 1 for a week. All the girls liked me. They were passing me notes in middle school, in study hall. And, it felt really good to be there. But then, you say something dumb or you make a mistake or you talk to the wrong person or, just something doesn't go perfect. And then all of a sudden that drops you down in the rankings. And then you just keep on falling because you keep doing one dumb thing after another. And you're just constantly fighting to keep moving your way up. But it seems like you're never really there. Or if you do get there, it seems like you're never there for long. It was a hard way to live life. And I never really felt confident, not as confident as I did when I was in kind of like that top tier. Man, that was a good time. But it didn't last. And I think there's a lot of you out there, you're kind of striving for that in your lives. You're kind of striving to kind of move up in the rankings of life. And you think that'll give you value and that'll give you confidence. But I have to tell you, there's a difference between false confidence and true confidence. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. If you want to look with me here in 1 Samuel, we're going to look at 2 different people, 2 kings, the very first 2 kings of Israel. And we're going to get an example of each. We're going to get an example of true confidence, and we're going to get the example of false confidence. So here we go. 1 Samuel chapter 15. Now this is when Saul was king over Israel. He was the very first king of Israel. And he was kind of like a reluctant king. He didn't really want to be king. But God said, hey, you're my guy. You're the one I want. He wasn't very confident about it. But he started to have some success, and it kind of went to his head, like it does for any of us when we have success or something good happen in our lives. And so he got a little full of himself. And so God gives him this simple command in chapter 15. He says, hey, listen, you're going to go and you're going to fight this army, the Amalekites, and you're going to wipe them out completely. I don't want you to take anything after you're done. Back then, there would be like spoils of war. You would take, all these, their goods, their animals, whatever. You would take it and it would be yours because you won. And so God says, nope, you're not going to do any of that. I just want you to defeat the army and then that's it. Come home. So Saul and his army, they do that. They go out and do the mission. But at the end, they're like, there's some good stuff here. I think it'd be kind of fun to keep some of this. And so they end up keeping the good stuff and they get rid of all the bad stuff that nobody even wanted. And so they think, okay, we destroyed some things. We kind of did what God wanted us to do. Now God, he knows everything. You can't hide from God. And so God, he tells his prophet Samuel, He was the guy that God used to anoint Saul as king over Israel. And he tells him, hey, you need to go talk to Saul, talk to your boy. He's out of control. We got to get him in check. And so Samuel, he goes to talk to Saul. And here we go. If you want to jump down here, verse 24, I'm going to look at that specifically. But right before that, Samuel just calls out Saul for everything he did. He just keeps telling him, listen, you did this, you did this. You didn't listen to God. You didn't do truly what he commanded you to do. And Saul just keeps making excuses after excuses. And then finally it gets down here to verse 24. Then Saul admitted to Samuel, yes, I have sinned. I have disobeyed your instructions and the Lord's command. Finally, it's like a kid that's just been trying to lie to his parents when he got caught, just trying to say, no, I didn't. Finally, he's just telling them he's coming clean. Yeah, okay, I didn't listen. I have disobeyed your instructions and the Lord's command, for I was afraid of the people. I was afraid of the people. Hold on to that line right there. And did what they demanded. But now please forgive my sin and come back with me so that I may worship the Lord. And so right there, it kind of sounds like, all right, Saul, yeah, he messed up, but he feels bad for what he did. He admits he was more afraid of what the people would think, because that's really why he took all that stuff. His whole army, everyone around him, they were probably pressuring him a little bit, like, oh, we should take that. We shouldn't destroy it. We could get wealthy off of all this. So let's take it for ourselves. And he was kind of like, yeah, okay. He gave in to peer pressure. He cared about being popular with the people because he feared what they thought of him. And so he gave in. But here it is. It sounds kind of like he's sorry about it. And you kind of think, oh, okay, God's probably going to forgive him. But then if you go down, verse 30, then Saul pleaded again to Samuel. I know I have sinned, but please at least honor me before the elders of my people and before Israel by coming back with me so that I may worship the Lord your God. He just wants Samuel to come back with him and honor him in front of people. Once again, he cares more about what people think than what God thinks or what God says. False confidence. It's something in our lives that we gain when we have these moments of success and we hear, cheers or praise from people. And it gives us just this boost. It just gives us like this, almost like endorphins, where we're like, yes, and it becomes almost like a drug for us, where we just want to keep hearing that over and over again. We want to hear from people, yeah, you did awesome, you did a great job, whether it was, in sports or in school or whatever it is you're trying to be successful in and trying to gain that approval of people. When you get that boost from people and when you hear those encouraging words, it's like this high. And you just want to keep getting that feeling over and over again. And that's what I lived for in middle school and high school. One of the ways I did that was in baseball. I just wanted to be so great at baseball, and I loved when I made a great play or I had a great hit, and I would have, all the parents on our team cheering me on or talking to me after the game, telling me how awesome I am, and that would just go to my head. But the very next game, I'd make a mistake, or I'd strike out, or something would go wrong, and all the praise, it would go away just like that. And I'd be left feeling down at my lowest point again. I thought I was on top of the world, and I wasn't. Maybe you could think in your own life, what's that thing that you use to try and gain that approval of people because you want that praise? You live for those words of affirmation. It does feel good, but it doesn't last. Now, when I think of true confidence, I think of the next king of Israel. And I think, man, I love 1st and 2nd Samuel because I really think what the author was doing there was he's giving us a contrast between what real confidence looks like and this false confidence looks like. He gives us this contrast of how we should live our lives and how we shouldn't live our lives. Because when you look at King David and how he lived his life, that was a guy who was truly confident. Not because of anything he did, but because of who God is and who God says he is. Look at the way David lived his life. When he was a kid and he stepped out onto that battlefield and he saw all these grown men afraid to face Goliath. You just heard Skylar talk about this message a couple weeks ago, going through the life of King David. I love this story and I love this picture because here's this kid who comes out and all these grown men are probably like, man, he's pretty arrogant, pretty cocky, thinking he could defeat this giant. Who does he think he is? He's foolish. He'll get killed. But David wasn't cocky about who he was. He was confident in who God is. That's true confidence. When you put your confidence in who God is and who God says you are, all of a sudden that changes the way you live your life. You're no longer striving for the approval of men. You're no longer fearful about what people will think of you because you know only one opinion matters, and you know what he's already said about you. He said it with his son Jesus on the cross. He said, "You're worth dying for. That's how much I love you." And when you know that, that gives you a new kind of confidence to walk through this world. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter what this world says about you or what anyone thinks about you. It doesn't matter where you are on the rankings list. All that matters is the audience of one. And he's already said what he thinks about you through his son, Jesus, and his blood. That's amazing to me. For me, it took me a long time to figure that out. It was finally about my senior year. I'd just been living on this roller coaster of trying to gain approval from people, up and down all the time. I'd have these great moments, and then I'd come crashing down. And finally, my senior year, it just clicked. I don't want to care so much about what people think about me because I already know what God thinks about me, and that's enough. And it was because there were these two guys in my high school that I looked at, and it didn't matter who you were. Everyone liked these guys. And I started thinking about what is it that everyone likes about these two guys? And I realized they didn't live for the approval of people. They didn't live to try and move up this ranking list that everyone was trying to battle on, and everyone was trying to become just a little bit more popular. They didn't care about that. They didn't care that if they talked to somebody on this lower ranking, it might bring their ranking down. None of that meant anything to them. And they walked around with this confidence. And looking back on it, I wish I would have asked them, but I think if I would have asked them one question, it would have been this: do you guys know Jesus? Because there was just something different about them. And I think it was because they got their confidence from who God said they were and not from who the world said they were. And I started to realize that my senior year. And I started to say in my own life, I'm going to stop caring so much about what people think about me. And the less I cared about trying to impress others, you know what? The more I found that I had real friendships and real relationships forming in my life that I'd never truly experienced before. I felt like I had genuine just love and acceptance from the people in my circle. And I want to tell you, you can have that same kind of confidence in your life. You got to let go of what the world says about you. You got to let go of all these crazy rankings that we're trying to chase after. And just know that there's only one opinion that matters. And it is the living God, the creator of all things, the God of the universe who says, you're good enough and I love you just the way you are. One last verse I want to talk about. Matthew 10:28. Here's what Jesus says. Don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body. They cannot touch your soul. Fear only God who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Now, that's not a verse to try and scare you, like, oh man, you're going to go to hell if you're afraid of people. No, it's just to put things into perspective. Because too many times we give too much power to the opinion of others when really the only opinion that matters is God's. And when we start living for Him and we start doing the things He's commanding us to and we stop caring about what the world says about us, it will change the way you walk through this world. It'll give you a confidence like no one else knows. And when people see that in you, they'll want to know what makes you different. And you're going to become a light for Jesus in this world because there's a lot of people that are living on this roller coaster and they're sick of it. They want to get off the roller coaster. They want to walk through life confidently, knowing that they don't have to live for the approval of men. They don't have to live for the approval of the world anymore. Just step off the roller coaster. Stop living in fear of men and realize there's only one opinion that matters, and it is the living God. Let's pray. God, thank you so much for this time together. God, thank you for how you speak to us in Scripture. And God, thank you for the life lessons that we can learn from your word. And God, just looking at Saul and David's lives tonight, God, help us to live more like David. Help us to live confidently in this world, not afraid of what people think, but only living in fear of the one true God. Just living our lives to bring honor and glory to you, to be a light in this world. God, help us to walk confidently without fear. We love you. In your name we pray. Amen. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Yes, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I can stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child. I am a child of God. One more time. Oh, I am a child of God. Dear Lord, thank you for making us your children, God. Thank you for giving us a grace that we don't deserve, a gift that we could never earn. God, it's just mind-boggling how much you love us. Thank you for giving us the confidence to go into the next day, Lord, knowing that you're the same God as the day before. Lord, thank you for loving us just as much every day. Help us not to take these moments for granted. We love you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Reporting live with Stonebridge News. I'm getting told right now we have some breaking news. It sounds like next week I'm going to be preaching. We're going to be going through worry. I would be happy if I didn't worry. Also, before that happens, we want you guys to submit some videos of you doing a trust fall, showing the confidence in people, confidence that Alex was talking about today. So go ahead and submit a video of you doing a trust fall with somebody before next week. And also, Friday is our weekly live stream. Make sure to tune into that on Instagram at 9 p.m. and we will see you there.